was a strange rumor when I was growing up that I was not my father's child. Ooh, my God. If the man was mad and he was throwing them punches, you know them niggas do not like raising other people's children. You know them niggas can't handle it. That is too much pressure unless it's understanding.
That's how you do it, Marvin. Marvin G. With Tony P is on the bill. That's how you do it. Oh yeah. And Trinidad. They uptown. And that's a whole lot of pressure. Yeah. And Gary Higo #1. And that's a whole lot of pressure. We got one up for you. Yeah, we're ready now. Hey, that's a whole lot of pressure. We gotta get a warm up.
Hello there, lovers. Hello there, bells. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, and subscribe because it is so important to our success here on the YouTube. And if you are not already a part of our Bella Book Club, please remember to hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube, and for a small monthly fee, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's talk about, hold on, let me get this right. My life story, Tina Turner with Kurt Loder. I Tina, part 1. Start. Like, picture this, okay? It's Nutbush, Tennessee. It is the 40s, and it is the end of the summer, okay? You see a field. It's a field, beautiful field. Birds, trees, flowers, pecan trees, cotton fields. It's just beautiful, okay? And trotting along is a horse. Okay, a field horse, as they call it. All right, and they got 5 small brown children on this horse. But the 5 children, one is Joe Melvin Curry and his older sister, Margaret. Their 2 first cousins, Aileen Bullock, who, like Margaret, is about age 7. And Aileen's sister, younger sister, is almost 3 and the tiniest. She is Anna Mae Bullock. The Bullock girls' older half-sister, Evelyn. Okay? Child, we'll get into the older half-sister part later. The 5 beautiful brown children are on a mission from their parents to take care of business. Because you know, back in the day, okay, this probably stopped in the 70s, but back in the day, what the parents used to do, write a little note. Here, take this to the store. Get this to Mr. Jerry. Tell Mr. Jerry that your mammy said to take care of this. Used to go to the store, hand the man a note. My auntie say to give me 2 packs of cigarettes and a bottle of brown. Where the children are going, they're going to this place called Ripley, okay? Because Nutbush is so small that it's no more than 50 families that live in the town. Elvis Stillman's grocery store. Okay, now we know this old rich white man's store, but it don't matter because the relationship between white, blacks, and some of the Indians is always cordial. It's cordial, but pretty much we find out later on that the reason why it's cordial in these segregated communities is because, I hate to say it like this, but blacks know their place. All right, so therefore the small children know what type of world they live in. So what they do, go to the grocery store, get their business done, and head back. You know them black mothers, they will take time to do your hair. And one thing a black mother hate more is when they take time to do your hair, all nice, neat, and pretty, and then you turn around, you go to school, and then you take it out. Anna Mae had took them daggone 3 famous braids out, you know, the one that's here, here, and here, that we've been wearing for years, and put her hair freely into one ponytail, because she want to be grown. Now, I ain't mad at her because we've all went to school with one hairstyle and came back home with another and then suffered the consequences later. The woman who would one day be Tina Turner was born Anna Mae Bullock at the tail end of another age. By 1939, tensions in the world were rising. Nazis, them motherfuckers was out of control. While abroad, they tripping. Okay, Germany, not that Nazi bullshit. They over there tripping. Okay, Albert Einstein in 1939, he over here working on an atomic bomb. You know, and I'm saying to myself, why we got to be working on bombs when we ain't even in the bullshit? 1939 was the year of the Cab Calloway. Okay, it was also the year that Ethel Waters, the star of Duke Ellison's steamy Cotton Club Review, appeared in concert at the New York World's Fair. Jane Bolin became the first female judge. More than 1,000 black voters defied the Ku Klux Klan cross burnings to cast ballots in Miami. And the doomed jazz singer Billie Holiday recorded Strange Fruit. Ooh, the chilling tale of the hanging of black folks in the South. So Marian Anderson was denied a chance or an opportunity to sing down there at Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C. And it's crazy to think that the owners would say, no, Marian, you can't come around here and sing. And then now you got black folks singing down there all the goddamn time. Hell, before the COVID, I used to see Frankie Beverly down there every goddamn year. Now, Anna Mae Bullock was born on the morning of November 26, 1939. A Sagittarian, okay? She was born at Brownsville Haywood Memorial Hospital, a 2-story municipal building whose basement was relegated to tending to black patients, okay? As soon as the baby was born back then, because you know they don't want them black folks in the basement, you know, nothing, okay? Get your ass back to Nutbush. She back at home in this 4-room home. Okay, that is on the Poindexter property. Okay, Poindexter is this big, rich white man who got fields and fields of stuff, and Anna Mae and what's the other one name? Ayla, something like that. Their pappy and mammy live on the farm or on the acreage, taking care of Big Daddy Poindexter's stuff. Floyd Richard Bullock was resident overseer on Poindexter's farm. A deacon of Woodlawn Baptist Church, Richard, as everyone called him, was also, as everyone knew, in constant conflict with Anna the Mae's mammy, Zelma Bullock. The book describes Anna Mae Bullock's mother, Zelma, as a black Indian woman of high spirits. Okay. That sound like a woman that liked to party all the time. High spirits. She was anything but a homebody. She had been smoking cigarettes and shooting 45 since the age of 10 and was not, as Richard had come to be painfully aware, a woman to be trifled with. There was one other child in the home, little Aileen, almost 3, and she greeted her new sister as an ally because she knew that this house was crazy. Okay, and I need somebody to be here with me so we can watch these crazy mother hunters. Here over there was Ada Mae Bullock's maternal grandparents. Okay, they lived yonder. Zelma's parents was Josephus, and Georgina Curry, Papa Joe, short and dark, a long-time Poindexter sharecropper, was a warm-hearted, child-loving, church-going Baptist man. The Currys were happy people, optimistic always, and Mama Georgia in particular. Having raised 7 children of her own, Mama Georgia now sheltered 3 of their semi-orphaned spawn. Evelyn Curry, born in 1935, was the issue of an inconsecrated teenager liaison between Zelma and Jerome Byrd. Okay, so remember I told you that Tina Turner's mammy liked to party all the time? Okay, well, she partied with this dude named Joseph Byrd. What's his name? Jerome Byrd. Okay, and they ended up having an old indiscretion. All right, and out of that came a baby by the name of Evelyn Curry. Okay. So sometimes when people be thinking it be the pappy that be all okay, and be jumping out there and having other kids, you mammies be having other babies too out there. It's just that they be raised by the other people in your family, and that's all I got to say about that. Now, the children of Zelma's brother, meaning Ada Mae the Bullock's uncle, had some children too. Okay, and of course, in traditional fashion, the grandmother taking care of them too. Now, okay, so the maternal grandparents live over there. Okay, now over there, would be the paternal grandparents. Mama Roxana was a big, fine, church-centered woman of sober demeanor. Her grandpappy wasn't. Okay, everybody knew that his ass was what she called a souse. Okay, I had to Google that word. I was like, a souse? What the hell that mean? Child, the world mean real wet, real liquidy. And I was like, oh, that must mean he old drunky boo. With them lived their Uncle Gil. Uncle Gil was Richard's brother. Okay, and Uncle Gil remained in the house because Uncle Gil had some issues, right? Uncle Gil had shot a man in the face, and then when the peoples came and got him, he stood firm and was like, yeah, I did. Now, we talked about the Poindexters. The Poindexters, I told you, the rich white people that own everything. Okay, now Mrs. Poindexter was Mrs. Ruby. Miss Ruby treated the children like kin at times. There was an understanding, like I said earlier, between blacks and whites. You were allowed to speak up, speak to them. Hello, Miss Ruby, but don't show off, okay? If the white woman invites you to the porch to have some lemonade, then you sit there and you have some lemonade respectfully. But after that, you move on. Now, what Anna Mae noticed about being around Miss Ruby was that in the Poindexter home, it was a lot of love and caring and affection in the home, okay? She said, according to young Anna Mae and how she thought, was that white people were more outwardly affectionate. It seemed like black people were always sneaking off to do something behind the doors or somewhere, that they couldn't publicly show affection. Maybe because they were publicly always watching out for a ninja to sneak up behind them and bash them in the head. You know, I mean, you never know. White people could get mad because they see us, slobbing each other down back then. You never know. In the Curry home, that means her maternal grandparents, she saw love there too, and she loved her maternal grandparents because all of it was, something that made her feel good. She wanted to experience that love that was like in her grandmother or her maternal grandmother's home or in Miss Ruby's house. She said in her home, it was fighting all the time. The book makes it very clear that every time, the pappy wanted to beat on Miss Zelma was like, oh no, not today, nigga. Not today. She was a fighter. She was a piece of work. And she was giving Tina Turner's pappy that work. Also, what Tina Turner felt was that she was quite neglected in the home, that she didn't get any attention. Through her eyes, she felt like the oldest daughter, Aileen, received some form of attention. But because she was the smallest, she felt like she wasn't getting the attention that she deserves. Anna Mae Bullock felt like she was left out, like she was there to fend for herself. For it had been her misfortune to be the last unwanted child of a fondering union. As Richard and Zelma turned away from each other, their puzzled daughter, stranded in the middle, began to turn away too. Now, Tina Turner reflects back on how her upbringing was not poor. I don't remember being poor. My father was always the top man on the farm. All the sharecroppers answered to him, and he answered to the owner. Daddy was in charge. We always had nice furniture in our house, and Aileen and I always had our own separate bedroom. And we had animals, the cows and pigs and chickens and horses, and I knew people who didn't. People with the house full of children, and maybe their children's children, and the sunken mattress and soiled covers on their beds, the mess and the smell of poverty. I knew the difference between that and what we had, and I knew we weren't poor. That's a good thing to hear, because you hear so many stories about how children want to make their story seem more desperate than what it is, like these rappers. Tina Turner goes on to talk that the fact is I had no love from my mother or my father from the beginning, from birth. But I survived. To tell the truth, I haven't received a real love almost ever in my life, believe it or not. People look at me now and think, what a hot life I must have lived. But I never found a real lasting love. But I have survived. Alienation, rejection, I didn't know those words existed when I was a child. I just knew that I couldn't communicate with my mother and that my father didn't seem to want me around. Oh my God. Oh, Tina Turner, boo. I'm so sorry, girl. Oh, that's fucked up. I was saying, her parents is always fighting for whatever. okay? Whatever the situation is. And her mammy ain't having it, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and say that her mother was a victim, because she wasn't. You put your hands on me, then I'm going to put my hands on you, okay? So Tina Turner reflects back on how the two would fight. And sometimes the mother would be sick of it and be like, you know what, I'm sick of this, right? Grab her two girls up and run down there to her mammy house. But it didn't matter, because what would happen is the pappy would come get them. Pack my girls up, bring them home. Come on back home. I know I ain't going to do shit but whip your ass again, but come on home. Okay, I want my family home. Now, there was a strange rumor when I was growing up that I was not my father's child. Ooh, my God. If the man was mad and he was throwing them punches, you know them niggas do not like raising other people's children. You know them niggas can't handle it. That is too much pressure, unless it's an understanding. There was this strange rumor when I was growing up that I was not my father's child. It seemed that before I was born, my father's sister, Martha May, and her husband were living with my parents. And Auntie Martha was fooling around with another guy, but on the sly. There was talk, but it was vague. And because my parents were not getting along, my father's people somehow got the notion that it was my mother who was fooling around, and that I was the other man's child when I came along. My father's people said, oh no, that's not Richard's child. Ooh. Ooh, and then you got his mammy like co-signing that shit. Father already thinking that the woman had cheated. All right, okay, this baby don't look like me. And then the bitch ass grandmother come along, okay, and say, son, that don't look like your child. That's not your baby. That's not. Can you imagine how much turmoil that brought to the household? Tina Turner goes on to talk about how she adored her mother. She thought her mother was beautiful. Okay, it was just she just did not feel the love reciprocated. Like I said, Tina Turner was a loner, all right? She just went off and did her own thing. Oh my goodness, how many people is resonating with this book so far? I didn't have anybody really, no foundation in life, so I had to make my own way. Always from the start, I had to go out in the world and become strong to discover my mission in life. The Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. And within 4 days, the world was at war. Okay? So they came up with the Manhattan Project, right? Yeah. So it's an opportunity in Knoxville. Okay? Richard and Zelma see them good government checks over there. Okay? I need to go over there. And them people, they ain't had no problem with leaving their children, okay? So when the parents decided to leave, you know the kids had to be placed somewhere else, somewhere in Nutbush, right? So Aileen, the oldest daughter of the parents, went over there to Mama Georgette, the maternal grandmother. Anna Mae, on the other hand, she went over there with her Bible-thumping grandmammy and her drunk-ass grandfather.